Damn. Dude, you guys just eat up like all the hotties, don't y'all?
Right there, that poster was originally like red and something else, and they put it at the plant at Cargill, and they thought it was like a stripper show or some shit like that. So they had to change it to a black one, because the red one, it was like a season's beating, because it was like Christmas. And yeah, it sounds sus, right? Yeah, with the I don't know who the fuck made that title, but with the red print, bro, it looked like we were like firemen, like freaking like strippers or something.
You're getting ready to beat something.
Yeah.
Oh shit. And this episode is sponsored by MyRNF. Check the links in the description to take the test. And welcome to another episode of the Yellow City Kids podcast. I am your host, Hernan Ramirez, and I am joined to my left with Cristiano Del Fuego. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. And of course, you know him, you love him, Mr. Dreamcast over here, Patrick the River himself. How you doing?
I'm good.
And our special guest, Mr. from Sinaloa. No, just kidding. Prici, boxer extraordinaire. When's your next match? I guess
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
Yes, sir.
Oh shoot!
What weight class?
It'll be light welter, so 139 is the official USA weight class. It depends. Like if it's like a low smoker, if it's like a local show, then it'll be like 140 or the weight can decipher, but 139 is the official weight class.
Okay, 2 weeks, and that's the one right there, March 6th, or?
No, those are actually past tournaments from or past shows here locally from 2020 and 2021. This will be regional Golden Gloves.
Okay.
So from regionals, it goes to state and then nationals if you keep winning.
Oh shoot! Okay, so they make it really easy for you to transition.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not okay. I always thought like with Hollywood and all that you're always just fighting in like a dirty.
Oh no!
You gotta start there.
You gotta start.
Yeah, you'll have a couple of those like here and there. Like they'll have little small shows, but in the amateurs it's different from the pros. So like in amateurs you don't really decide who you fight. You just kind of take fights wherever you can get them, and then at these big tournaments, like the best fight the best. So if I win my region, then I advance to state, and then everybody knocks each other out until like there's one winner, and then that one person represents Texas, and then all the states go for nationals.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And how many regions are in Texas?
There's a lot of regions. I'm not too sure. I just know over here in West Texas there's 2. It'll be like Lubbock and Odessa.
Okay. Sweet. And then after that, after all of Texas is done, then you start going into other states, or is it
like a big
the national, right? That's what you said?
The national Golden Gloves tournament is everybody that advances from state goes to that, and then it'll be like in a big place like Las Vegas or Louisiana or some place cool that they can host it. Yeah. And then all the state champs go and bump each other out until there's one national champ.
Sick, dude. Okay.
Nice.
And then after that, it's global.
Global.
Yeah. Then after
that, really? Okay, I was just messing around.
No, after that, like Golden Gloves and USA Boxing, I think it's like different organization. Mm-hmm. So there's USA Nationals and there's like Golden Gloves, and they're both national tournaments, so they're like real high up there. And Golden Gloves, I think if you win the nationals for Golden Gloves, you get on the Team USA, or I'm not sure how all that works, but then you're like sponsored by Team USA, and then you can fight international. Wow. And they go to like a bunch of different international tournaments, and you're basically you're representing the United States.
The United States of America.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow, that's crazy. It's really honestly the world of fighting. I feel like it's really changed a lot recently, because back then, I don't know, maybe if in the olden times it would feel like there was always a big fight, every weekend. And now it just feels like in boxing, every big fight's maybe 3 months from now, 6 months, next year. You got to wait forever. Do you like that? Or
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like necessarily the best aren't fighting the best, and I mean that kind of that kind of sucks because everybody and that's the difference between like boxing and MMA. Like in MMA, it's okay to lose, and in boxing, everybody wants to stay undefeated, which is like I don't get it. Like if you're fighting the best, like you're gonna lose. So
right.
I don't know. I think that's how it should be. The best should fight the best.
Yeah. Do you think after maybe Floyd retires with like this perfect record, people will be like, okay, well, that's kind of unachievable. Maybe let's be a little more realistic and take big fights all the time, or you think people are just gonna be chasing?
Yeah, I
that?
think like he ran it. He was like one of the best, obviously, but and he worked hard and he did everything right. And I think he faced everybody, maybe not in their prime, but he did end up eventually facing everybody at the top. So you can't take that away from him. I think he earned that 50-0.
What is your honest opinion on him? Like,
anybody that's a boxing fan has got to like respect like what he's done. And me, like before I even knew anything about boxing, I hated on him because I didn't know anything, and I'd be like, oh, he runs away, he buys his fights, because I didn't know anything. And then once I got into the sport, I actually started studying and taking notes. And anybody that is like a true fan or boxes or trains or anything, like has got to love, like maybe not his style, but love what he's done, because he is literally like a boxer. It doesn't hits and doesn't get hit. Although he won't like sit and trade with you, and maybe his fights aren't exciting, like everybody's got to like take notes and take notice on what he's done.
Right. It's kind of like football. A lot of like
Tom Brady.
Well, I guess
like you got to respect him, even though.
We can go that way. You can look at Tom Brady and see. I was gonna go more like a more exciting game is gonna be one where there's like a big old score and people love that.
Yeah,
like back and forth.
Yeah, but people have to also understand that defense is a thing.
Most games aren't like that.
Yeah,
exactly. That's when you get to the nitty gritty. That's when people who really love the sport see the sport for what it truly is. Like it's
It's all about strategy too.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I was gonna bring up my favorite fight, and I don't know if you care much about it, but I always thought it was probably the coolest fight. I don't know how big it is in the boxing world, but it's Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran.
Classic, bro. That's classic. What do you mean?
That's my favorite, man, because that's the one where I've seen like plenty of videos. I've seen lots of interviews about just I feel like that's kind of, for me, that's like the prime example of what you can do with like strategy. Like you don't have to win by knockout, you don't have to win by TKO, whatever. You can get into people's head during a match and use that to your advantage.
Yeah, that was a legendary fight. Like I've seen it multiple times, and sometimes like you just have somebody that like you have to fight that way. Like let's say he's a come forward brawler, or he's real defensive, so you have to like kind of rough him up. I think he fought him perfectly. I mean, I didn't like watching back, like you didn't think like Roberto Duran would quit for, regardless of the circumstances. Like he did quit. I mean, maybe it wasn't the right call, but he wasn't. He was trying to change things up, and he was getting frustrated, and he just beat him in his game plan. But at the same time, I think Duran is like one of the best as well, because I mean, he was a lightweight and he went all the way up to middleweight with guys that were like nowhere near his size.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was like such a small guy, and he was fighting all these guys because he didn't care. He believed like his skill would match up with all these other guys, and he won at that high level. And I mean, he just made like the weight was not a factor, but in reality it is. I mean, you got a guy that's naturally 15, 20 pounds heavier. He's gonna hit harder. He's gonna be able to take a better shot. So
it's crazy how just a little bit of weight makes such a big difference in everything. Like you add what are the weight differences? Like it's every 5 pounds or every 10, or
it's kind of weird because they do like at the championship level, they don't really do much catch weights, but it's usually like it's like 125 to 130 to 135 to 140. So sometimes it's 5 pounds, sometimes it's like 3. But when it's like when people are doing like 10-pound jumps or 15, like I think it is a huge difference. And especially at heavyweight, like you got someone that's maybe right at the crossing over to be heavyweight. So he's like maybe like Deontay Wilder, who's about 215, 220 when he faced Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury was like 270, 280. That's a huge difference. And people are like, they're both heavyweights, but 60, 50 pounds, that's a lot. That's a huge difference to like when we're tying up or we're in the clinch and I'm putting all that weight on you. That's a huge difference. So, I mean, props to like those guys that, I mean, they don't, it doesn't let them bother them.
What is your favorite fight? What's your fight that you always like look to and you're like, you know, you kind of like, for me it's that fight, the No Mas fight.
There's so many, bro. I can't even pinpoint. I got a lot of favorite fighters like when Lomachenko was coming onto the scene. I don't know if you know who that is, a 2-time Olympic champ. When he was coming on, I really liked his style because like, I mean, he wasn't getting hit and he was exciting and he's every way like that I wanted to fight. I wanted to put pressure and not be able to get touched and dance around my opponent and have good defense. And I love watching his fights. The only thing is he's a southpaw and I'm orthodox. And I do implement a little bit of southpaw, but I'm not a natural southpaw. I'm orthodox, so I stand with my left hand in front. And but I just really love his style. I like guys that like, because to me it takes more discipline, it takes more skill to be defensively sound than be like, you could be an offensive punching machine and that's easy because coming forward is easy, blocking, but when you're like defensively sound and you're not getting hit, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
So that to me that's more impressive, is the defense, the footwork, and not being able to get hit.
Is it true that about Lomachenko that he I remember a buddy of mine told me that his father put him through like ballerina lessons and all that.
The infamous story. He was like, I want to say he started boxing when he was like when he could walk, probably like 3 or 4, and then for like 2-3 years they put him in like Ukrainian dance class or something like that. He's Ukrainian, and he just worked on his footwork, and that's why you see like how like amazing his footwork is today. Like he moves in certain ways to where like he's in front of you, but you can't even touch him because I mean he's moving so fluidly that I mean he's just nowhere to be seen when you're trying to punch him, and then at the same time he's right in front of you again, and you're getting hit and you're not being able to even touch him or see where he's at.
Where is that guy? How come he's not like making big old fights right now?
I think his most recent fight was he fought Richard Comey. He fought Richard Comey, which I think was a title eliminator. And I mean, the only problem with guys that have like an extensive amateur career, like he won 2 Olympic gold medals, right? And he went pro when he was about 28. That's pretty late in your career.
Oh,
that's pretty late.
Okay.
So I thought like he could have gone pro sooner, and we would have had more professional fights, and he would have been. I mean, he's a big name. I mean, he's got like millions of followers on Instagram. I feel like everybody, as far as like some casuals, like pretty much have heard of him or seen him or seen his highlights because he's so exciting.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he would have won the first Olympic gold and then gone pro, and maybe took a little bit slower approach, because another thing is I think he has under 20 fights, and he's like 31, 32 maybe. And his second pro fight was already a title fight. That's pretty insane to do. Like that's kind of unheard of. Like you get 20, 30, 40 fights, and then you get a shot at a world title because you build yourself, you know? Right. You don't have that skill right away. He talked, I think, with Bob Arum. I don't know who he signed with at first, and he was like, I want my first fight to be a title fight. That would have made history. Like, nobody goes pro, and then right away, boom, title fight, millions of dollars, like, everything's on the line. And he had one fight against a guy that had, like, he had a pretty good record. I think he was, like, he had, like, 40 wins, 30 wins. He had a lot of experience on him, and he just toyed him. He freaking danced. He touched him up, and then he knocked him out. And then the second fight, he had a title shot right away. So it's pretty impressive what he's done as far as like his short pro career.
Yeah. Do you think You think he's got a good long while left? I mean, you said he started pretty late, so his prime's probably he's probably at the tail end of his prime.
Yeah,
right?
he's definitely at the end, but like at the same time he's had 400, almost 400 amateur fights.
Right.
So that's gonna have a lot of, even though he doesn't get hit a lot, that's still a lot of wear and tear on the body. And then his second loss against Teofimo, I thought, regardless what people said, like you can't take nothing away from Teofimo. He beat him fair square. He did his job. He showed up for the fight. But Lomachenko right afterwards had surgery. I'm not making no excuses for him. He lost. He didn't come prepared. That's his fault. I mean, he had surgery right away, and that's another thing that's taken away from his career is injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's had a lot of injuries, the shoulders, the knees, whatever it is, and that's kind of taken a toll and slowed his career down. That's why you don't see him fighting a lot. But I feel like he's that fighter that, I mean, if you need him, like he's there, and I think he gives a lot of the top guys problems right now.
Can you tell me, like, is it still like those three styles, or is fighting more of a mix, like kind of like MMA, where you kind of just try to take from both? Because I remember we were watching a video, I don't know, a while back, maybe a few years ago, where they broke down fighters into like 3 categories or 4, it's like sluggers and something like that. And I don't know, is that still a thing?
I feel like there's a bunch of styles and you just pick and choose. Like people say like he's a counter puncher.
Yeah,
he's a brawler. But I feel like there's a mix. You're not just one thing. Like people be like he's a slick boxer. He's defensive. Like I feel like it's a mix of that. Like I don't think it can be one style. Like you have to be able to have it all to be great, to be good or whatever. Like some fights, like I've only had 11 amateur fights, and I feel like even during the fight you got to make adjustments. Like for example, if a guy's a good boxer and you're trying to box him but he's outboxing you, then I'm gonna switch it up and I'm gonna put pressure, see if you can take that pressure and I can break you with the pressure. And let's say if you're a slugger, I'm not gonna sit there and slug with you and try to knock you out, test my chin and test your chin to see who gets knocked out first. I'm gonna box. So I feel like you have to develop a little bit of everything. So when you get tested or your game plan is not working, you implement plan B, plan C, whatever. You can change it up. That's what makes fighters like Floyd and Sugar Ray Leonard and all them great.
Do you like you're talking about smart boxing, but are there people out there who like let emotions get the best of them and like the crowd and their ego, and they're like, I'm just gonna slug it out for
that's
just
another thing.
Just for the crowd and they'll pardon themselves or something.
That's what sucks, because you hear a lot about mentality and you can't let the crowd or you can't let the audience get to you, but you hear a lot, like even at the highest level, like I could say like, oh, the pressure's not gonna get to me, but you don't know until you get there. Like a good example is like Arturo Gatti. Like a lot of people know who that is. He had a great fight with Mickey Ward. He had a bunch of classic fights. He lost to Mayweather, but he had a good fight. But his problem is he was a really good boxer. He had really good technique. But as soon as the crowd started roaring, he would sit there and trade with you. And that was kind of a little bit of a downfall. Like he had fights where he could have won, but he let the crowd and the influence. He's like, oh, they're loving me right now. I love it. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to trade. When like other people that are like, I don't care what the crowd says, that I'm not here to get hit.
You gotta stick to your game plan.
You got to stick to the game plan. And it's hard to do sometimes. Like, you don't know until you're in that situation.
Yeah. Damn, man, that sounds,
Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's true.
That wasn't part of my plan.
You're going against the script, man.
Yeah.
What are you
This
doing?
ain't supposed to happen to me.
Do you have a big like moment where you got hit and you're just like, oh man, like that one was a little too much, or you haven't had that?
As far as in a fight, I haven't really been like rocked or hurt or anything. Thank God. I mean, we're gonna keep moving up, and eventually like that might happen. But as far as like these past fights, I haven't. But I owe it all kind of to my team. Like I have a really good team. Like Jesus Torres, he's a local fighter. He's from Friona. I get good work with him. Rudy Montenegro. All my team is really good, so they give me more trouble, and they're at a high level. So when I spar them, it's a difference from when I actually fight because, like Rudy, he's a pro. I think he's 6-0. He's a local fighter here, and I say he's like one of the top guys coming out of Amarillo. He's a real big, good fighter, and he gives me for my last like 5-6 fights, he's been like one of my main sparring partners, and like he's at a really high level right now. So like I'm not gonna see that. Like he's a pro. He's had an extensive amateur career, and he did a lot. So like his technique and he pushes me to a certain level where like as far as locally, like I haven't been pushed there yet. So that's what the big tournaments are for. Like I've seen it. Everybody's gotten beat up. I've seen it to where like, oh, like I know I can push through. I know I can get through this. I know I can adjust. So like when it's time to get tested, like you get your bell rung or you get hurt, like you know how to react.
Does your record matter as much in amateur, or like do you get two different records in amateur and pro, or is it just it's all just one record?
Yeah, it's so when you're amateur, you're an amateur, so you have headgear. They kind of take care of you more. Like if I get a nasty shot, and like your head rocks back, or they'll give you an 8 count because they kind of take care of you more than the amateurs. Like you're not getting paid, you're not nothing, so there's no point in getting hurt. Like
Right.
if you're getting outclassed, you're getting beat up. There's no point in sitting there and I'm gonna have a war. I'm gonna win this at all costs. Even though that's like the mentality. Like when I'm in there, like I like to think like I'll die before I lose, you know. But that's kind of like the switch you turn on when like you're fighting. You're in the ring. You got to take your mental state to like a point where like nothing matters. Like the outside don't matter. It's me and you. And one of us is gonna win, and it's gonna be me. That's how I like to think of it. But which is good that they take care of you in like in the amateurs, because you don't wanna, get beat up before you can even start making any money.
Right.
But I don't believe it. The amateurs are where you learn, so I don't believe it's your record matters. Like it doesn't matter that I've had 11 fights and whatever. You're 11-0. You've had losses, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like what matters is that you're improving and you're getting better. So when you go pro, like you're not making the same mistakes you were making when you're an amateur. So once you go pro and you're making money, you're moving up the rankings, and your record doesn't really matter, but it that you're winning, it does matter. So like you want to keep winning to keep improving to eventually have like be at the highest level, win titles, and make your money.
Do you think people are gonna care as much about, or do you think casuals or most people even care about the record? Like if you were to ask like just a casual person who's just gonna watch the fight, you think they really even care? Or do you think it's more like it's just boxers themselves or like fighters themselves that really only care about it?
Like I think since like there's internet and there's like everybody can kind of see through like the BS. So like if I'm 30 or 50 or 40, and I'm fighting like pure bums, you can go to the actual official website, which is BoxRec, and see like, oh, this guy's fought nobody but losers, guys that have no wins. But if I'm like 12-2, but I'm fighting undefeated guys, or I'm fighting the best of the best, and like I don't think it matters. I think I like to think that casuals care about like if he's a good fighter, or like respect his skills, or if he's exciting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that sounds more realistic, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know where the record just all of a sudden became just the most important.
I think it stemmed from like Mayweather. Like everybody wants to chase that new 50-0, whatever, 40-0. But I don't really think it matters. I think like you should let your like skills like speak for themselves, and then you win some, you lose some. You might not win them all. Like you could be winning the whole fight, and one punch would change the fight. Like I mess up, I lose focus for a split second, and boom, I get hit, and it's over. So anything can change. So that's why you gotta stay humble, because there's always someone better than you out there.
Do you think the movies get it right, like Rocky and Creed and those types of movies, or?
Yeah, there's some pretty good movies out there that have done it right. I like the Creed movies. I actually haven't seen the Rocky all the way through. Like I've seen parts of it, and everybody like freaking hates on me because they're like, "How have you not seen Rocky?" And they're like legendary movies. And I've seen I've seen parts and bits of them, and I just haven't sat through and watched them all the way through. But I think Creed's an exciting movie. I like how they put like Andre Ward and actual fighters, and they kind of give them like a platform and give them their actual record. That I thought that was pretty cool. And then Southpaw, that's a good movie too with Jake Gyllenhaal. That's kind of realistic. But the funny thing is, I watched it before I was in boxing. And he's not actually a southpaw. I think he's an orthodox, and I don't know why they named it southpaw. Huh. If he's not actually a southpaw.
Yeah, Hollywood does that a lot.
That's pretty funny, though. That's funny. It's a good movie, though.
In this movie, you're left-handed. That doesn't matter.
But we're going to call it southpaw.
Call it southpaw. Didn't he switch to it or something? Or
he got hurt, and he switching at the end.
So he had to learn to
like the last fight, he's southpaw. I think that's it.
Was that it? I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't really remember. I watched it before I even knew anything. Before I even know how to throw a punch.
So growing up, you weren't into boxing?
Well, growing up, I was always like fighting and being. I was like real like peleonero. I was always,
you're that story, huh?
Yeah, I feel like I was just like a crazy kid. Like I was travieso and getting in trouble and doing a bunch of bad stuff. And growing up in California, and then we moved to Texas, and I joined wrestling. That was my first, because I was in football and I was in like all the other sports you kind of have to do, and it just sucks because like we'd win as a team and I wouldn't do anything. I would do something and we'd lose, and to me I was like, it sucks. Like it sucks. I want the shine and I want the glory or whatever. So I joined wrestling because I have an older brother, and we used to wrestle. And I thought like I can, if I can take this giant. I mean, my brother, he's like 6'5". He's a freaking giant, and I'll be like, if I can take this guy, I can take anybody my weight. Yeah. So I like that I can face somebody in my weight. And 7th grade, I was I don't know how old you are in 7th grade, like 12, 13. Something like that.
Something more like that. 13.
Sure.
Well, I only weighed about like 70 pounds, so I was like, I'll be any 70 pounder in the world. That was just my mentality, and I didn't have much technique. We didn't have the best coaches. We didn't have the best program. Yeah. I mean, but we worked with what we had, and I like that. Like when you'd win, like man, it was an amazing feeling that you can't like get anywhere else. It's like a high. It's something that like everybody that's done like one-on-one or even team sports can like relate. Like big wins is like a big deal, like when they're raising your hand, whatever. And then I always wanted, like growing up watching like Jean-Claude Van Damme and all them cool kickboxing movies. I always thought Bruce Lee, like everybody, all the goats, everybody likes
Bloodsport?
Bloodsport guy? Yeah, so when I was little, like I'd always be like, I always saw myself as a fighter. So like as an MMA fighter kind of, but I transitioned to I had a friend that boxed in Hereford when I started, and I knew there was a gym, but I was always too afraid, and I used the wrestling, like, oh, I'm in wrestling, I don't have time. I used that as an excuse to not go, but I knew like eventually it was gonna lead to something. And then I just asked my friend, like, hey, can I go with you? And then we went, and I sparred my very first day. I learned how to throw a punch, and the same day they threw me in the ring. The guy that threw me in there with was going light on me, but from there, like the bug bit me, whatever you want to call it. And then I got like caught, and then every day I was doing twice a day, and from there I was like, I'm gonna be boxer. Like I know this is what I'm gonna do. And then I had a plan that like I was gonna have 50 fights in 1 year, and 50 amateur fights, and I'm gonna go pro, and and it didn't work that way because I started at the beginning of 2019, and I got a little bit of experience, and then I got one fight I won, and I was like, I'm gonna fight every weekend, and I had this dumb mentality that I was gonna get like all my experiences by fighting every weekend. and then I was gonna go pro in like a year or two, and then Corona virus happened and all that stuff. So I had like 4 or 5 cancellations in 2020.
Yeah.
And then 2021 we picked it back up, and we're here now.
So was the fighting scene pretty much dead that whole year?
Yeah, it sucked because I mean, for whatever reason, I mean they were being safe, so
Right.
it was only you and your coaches, no crowd. I didn't care. I didn't care if there was a crowd. Nothing mattered as long as I got a fight.
Right.
But I would go to, I went all the way to Dallas, and then it was like a 2-day tournament or something like that. And I went in the first day, and then they were like, you got to buy the first day. You're going right into the championships because there's no one in your, there's only like 3-4 in your weight. So they're like, these 2 are going to fight, and then you're going to fight the winner, blah, blah, whatever. It was only like my second fight, and I was pumped up. I was ready to go. I had a good camp, made weight, whatever. And then he weighed in the second day, and I see his name, and I'm like, to me, like I've always had that mentality that like I don't want to know anything about him. I don't care. Like as long as you do you, and you focus on yourself, like you're gonna perform your best. Like I see people, they look at their opponent, they're sizing him up, and they're like, he's big, I can take him, or he's tall, like, and I'll see him when I see him, and like you'll adjust and you do whatever. Like I like to, as long as I'm right, I can do everything in my power to like make sure the fight goes my way or whatever. And then so I warm up, I'm nervous, I got butterflies. And it's crazy because no matter how good you get or how much experience you get, you're always gonna get those little bit of nerves because you care. I could be super confident, but at the back of my mind, you got that 1-2% that's like, whew, like anything can happen. So I'm there, I'm warming up, and I walk into the ring, and I'm sweating, but I'm cold. So like you're nervous.
Oh man.
And you're in a big ring. It was in Dallas, so it was like a big coliseum. Even though there's no people there were still like cameras, and it was like a big place. So I was like, man, like my heart's beating out of my chest. And then I see like the commissioner or whatever, they're talking, and they're like he didn't want to come out. And then I was like, what? I was like, what's happening? And then the ref gets in the ring and raises my hand. I'm like,
oh man.
Yeah, it was like super disappointing, bro. Like I was like,
no.
fuck.
You
Like,
won, but you didn't.
But he took the other fight though, right? Oh, obviously he won, right?
no. So 2 guys fought, and then I don't know how, like, and then somehow I was gonna fight this guy, or it was they already fought. I'm not sure how it worked, but the point is he didn't. I don't know. I think he got a bye too. I don't know exactly what happened, but he weighed in but didn't fight the first day. And the second day he was gonna fight me. I don't know why we didn't just do it the first day. I guess they wanted to save the championships for the second day, and he just didn't make the walk. And then his coach said that he hurt his hand, but I'm like, I just think like what happens. Like you just, I don't know if you got scared or he just didn't want to come out. But it sucked. So that was
Or maybe he hurt his hand.
maybe, I don't know. Give him the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, that happened to me 4 times. I went to
4 times.
I went to Roswell. They canceled on me there. I went to, I don't know if it was Odessa or Lubbock. I don't know. I went to 4 different places, and they canceled me on the spot. So it was pretty like, I was like, man, I don't want to freaking box somewhere. I'm freaking pissed. Nobody wants to fight me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like super mad, but I mean, I just listened to my coaches and stayed patient. And we had one of the local shows, and I had a really tough opponent, really good fight here. So I got what I asked for finally.
That's good. Huh?
Do people actually do how you said, like how you got planned? Do people actually take fights weekly too?
Yeah, like Vasily, he started boxing when he was like 7 or whatever, and he had 396 wins and only lost once, right? Because he's like one of the best amateurs, arguably, in my opinion, to ever do it. And so yeah, like when you're fighting, when you have 400, like you only have a couple years. Like some people do fight every weekend, every other weekend, or when you have big tournaments, it's you only fight once a day, but it could be a 6-day tournament. So that's already, 6 days in a row,
6 days.
Yeah.
5 days, whatever. So that's he had a bunch of amateur world titles. So those world title tournaments are weeks long. So.
And how do teams work? Like, is it just is it a bunch of people in the same group in the same weight class, or is this just a group of people like your team? Like how does that work? Like what is your team?
So I fight under Texas Elite Fight Club with Jose Montanez, and the way they do it is like he's a coach and he's been coaching for a long time. So like he built his resume like he's a good coach and everybody knows him around the area, and he brings up good fighters. And so when I started training in Hereford, my gym closed down because of COVID and stuff, and my trainer Chuy Martinez, he got trained by Jose, and he was like, Jose's a great coach. I think you should go with him since we're not able to train. And he's like, I know you got a hunger for it. You should keep training. And that's the whole reason I moved over here to Amarillo, is to be closer to training, find a better job, and take it more serious, basically.
Yeah.
And so I met Jose. I feel like at first, you got to prove yourself. So he was like, I'm not like just gonna let anybody walk in. And he's like, he's hard on you, but that's what makes him a great coach. That's what I like about him, is that like he does things right, and he has so much experience to where like I listen to him because he knows what he's doing. Like you're nervous, you're like, oh, should I do this or that or whatever, but he knows what he's doing. So I mean, it's good to have someone like that you trust in your corner. And then I started training with him, and then I've had 8 fights under him, 9 fights, something like that.
Okay, are you counting the 4 that didn't show up, or
No, those don't count. Like actual fights, like on my boxing license, it'll tell you how many times you've checked in, but on the columns where it says win and losses is how many fights you've actually had. Okay. So I've had 11, and 9. Wait, I've had 10. No, I've had 9 or 10 with Jose and 1 or 2 with Chuy. So
pretty good, man.
And as far as training, is it a mixture of endurance and sparring, or is one more than the other?
Yeah. Break down a day, man. Break down a full day for you when it comes to just full boxing day.
So I work nights, which at first when I first moved over here, I almost didn't take the job. It was a really good job. I work for Tyson. I'm a maintenance over there, and it's nights. It's only 10 hours. So I get off. I go in at 10 at night, and I go in at 10 at night and get out at 8:30 in the morning, and then I'll be at Nick's in the morning at 9 a.m. And me and my brother will do like technique. Right now we're in camp, so I'll just take you out through right now. Like we'll get there at 9, and we'll warm up. We'll get like 5, 6, 7 rounds of shadow boxing, and that's like your homework. Shadow boxing is like I'm throwing punches in certain ways, or I'm moving in certain ways. So like when and I'm imagining my opponent. So when like it actually happens, I know where to step, I know how to move, and that's kind of your homework. And a lot of people don't shadow box, but shadow boxing is like really, really important. So we'll do a couple rounds of shadow boxing, and then depending what day it is, we'll do like endurance training on the mitts, like just conditioning, like throwing lots of combinations, lots of head movement, and then get like 5, 6, hard 7 rounds of mitts, and then do technique on the mitts, like move in certain ways and adding stuff to our game, like different shots or different movements or setups, whatever. And then we'll do strength conditioning on the bag, and then we'll either run miles or run sprints, and then add like calisthenics to it. And then we'll do I try to do one day hard in the morning, because in the afternoon we don't we'll have like sparring, or we'll have actual training with Jose. I'll go to his afternoon training, and then he'll kind of let us know how the week's gonna be, like if we're gonna spar 2-3 days in a row. Excuse me. If we're gonna spar 2-3 days in a row, or if we're gonna do strength conditioning again, or we'll set up sparring. So that's kind of how I like to do strength conditioning in the morning, and then technique or sparring in the afternoon.
Okay. Damn, man, you got a busy ass schedule.
So no jump ropes.
That's part of
honestly, I don't really like to jump rope. I like to when people warm up with jump rope, I like to warm up with shadow boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess so when you're training, right? All of this, it's you're gathering all this experience. When you're in a fight, is a lot of it like second nature? Like, oh, I've seen this, so I'm gonna react like this. Like, is this constantly like that? Or?
Yeah. So like the way I like to take like a fight, like you'll you'll see your opponent like standing across from you. I like to see him. I'm like, okay, he's pretty tall. Or let's say he's short. If he's short, I'm like, I'm gonna stick my jab in his face, and I'm gonna keep him at distance. If he's tall, I'm gonna come in like nice and tight, and the first like 30, 20 seconds, I like to find my range. I like to like throw a couple jabs, throw away jabs, whatever, and see how they react to it. And then from there, you kind of develop a game plan. Like, oh, he's just trying to throw an overhand, or he's just trying to brawl with me, or he's slick or whatever. And then you're just kind of reacting to see how they're gonna react, throwing some stuff, and then right there, since you only got 3 rounds, 3 minutes, you gotta go.
Okay.
So you get 30. I like to use 30 seconds to a minute to like kind of find my range, find my distance, and then you gotta like just press on the gas pedal and score more, or set up something to get a knockout, whatever. So,
Man, dude, that's man. So okay, I was wondering about that. So okay, so what do you think about like how quickly do you think pros do everything that you just did? Like, do you think they do it better? You think, or not better, but like, you think they do it faster, or you don't think they already know what they're getting into? Like that whole like you're pretty much like what the 30 seconds that you said, you're just gathering information.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that due to like the way you say you don't know anything about them until
yeah,
you go
but that's another thing. That's my style. I like to take like a strategic approach. Like I like to like actually think. And there's some guys like they won't, and that's why like maybe a guy with like a brawling style could beat me or something like that. We don't like, I've faced brawlers before, but I had a fight where I feel like the nerves got to the other guy. It was like a championship fight. It was a hometown fighter. He had his whole crowd there, and he was really pumped. And I kind of took it on short notice, but I was in shape. I try to stay in shape year round, so like I wasn't worried about it. I'm like, I know I can go 3 hard rounds. And so we started, and right away I'm trying to find my distance. I'm trying to start off a little bit slow, and boom, he's coming at me right away. So you just kind of got to react. And then he had an adrenaline dump. So he threw something. He was throwing hard for the first minute, and then he kind of slowed down. And then I'm okay. Like, this guy throws looping shots. I got to throw right down the pipe, right down the center, and keep everything nice and tight. And I just started picking him apart. But I feel like it did give me trouble at the beginning. But once I like the fight settles, like you figure out who's like the better fighter and stuff like that.
So in the amateurs, you don't really study.
No, that's another thing. Like, you'll just get a name and a weight. That's all my coach tells me.
To study them because,
like you might there's people on all social media, but like I'm not going as far as to like look them up, because like my coach would just tell me like, hey, 140 Odessa, and I'll be like, okay, like I'll be ready, and then we'll get ready, we'll get prepared. And then if it's somebody like really good, he'll tell me like the day of, or he'll be like you need to get ready. He'll just tell me, like, he'll just be serious, and like I get the most prepared regardless of like who it is.
Right.
To me, it's like I'm facing the next best thing.
Do you think that's ever gonna change? Like that going in without knowing too much about your opponent? Like, you think maybe the higher the higher you go into it, the more you're gonna look at your opponent, or this is not really your style?
No, like I think right now like you can't, so it doesn't really matter to me. But as far as like when you get to higher ranked, and you get like locally known, like, oh, this guy is making a big name for himself, they start to take notice. So like if I notice like, oh, this fighter has a that fighter that I told you about that started off real hot, I had seen him fight previous at other shows, so I knew a little bit about him. I know he likes to brawl, so I'm like, I'm gonna box him. So right away I knew like I don't think he can beat me, because he just wants to brawl, and like I don't. And he had like bloody wars, like, and when my girlfriend heard I was fighting him, she was like scared, and she was like, I don't want you to fight him, because like they've seen him fight, and he gets in like wars, and he's bloody and the other guy's bloody, but he always ends up on top because he had some good power. So I was going in there like, this guy has got some pop, but I just can't stand in front of him and let him freaking hit me. So I mean, I just took a smart approach. I boxed him, and he wasn't there. If you're not there to get hit, I mean, he's got no other game plan but to come forward. So it was like stuff like that. Once you get more well known, like you kind of see like, oh, that guy has this type of style, and you just kind of have to prep it, but you don't really get to like study film. That's more of like a professional stuff. Like once you get like a bigger name for yourself, you start seeing these guys and you're able to study film on them a little bit more.
So right now, I mean, you're just most of the time you're just going in
in the dark a little bit, yeah.
Man, dang, that sounds.
It's intense.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't. So I guess tell me a little bit more about like who do you look up to? Who like or I mean I know you're a big boxing fan, but do you have like a favorite fighter?
Like I made that little poster. Those are a lot of my favorites. I mean everybody. I mean Mike's iconic. I like to. Everybody throws him in there, but like all the casuals know who he is. But as far as boxers, I like right now Canelo. I've been seeing a lot of his fights, but I like to think that I've liked him since I can remember. Like even when I didn't know boxing, like I liked him. I liked his style, but I never knew what was going on. I never knew like how smart and how he breaks things down and everything. How he puts everything together. Like it's really impressive when you see that. So I like Canelo. I like looking more at old fights.
Yeah.
Like Julio Cesar Chavez. I like his style. Like I look at all these guys and sometimes like I'll go into the gym and I'm like I want to fight like him or I want to do this. I want to work on this, and you just kind of make your style by picking and choosing little things from everybody's like craft and stuff. So
do you take into do you believe in the whole like the Mexican way of fighting? Like
the Mexican style, yeah.
Yeah, like is that a legit thing? Like Mexicans are just I remember I think Joe Rogan was talking to somebody and they were talking about how like Mexicans are they're just a different breed. Like I don't know, we like take a little like extra punches or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, they there's that like it's not a misconception. I think it's a real thing. Like you see a lot of I don't know if like I've seen a lot of stories of like Mexico like you're poor so you're trying to make it out so you'll do anything to win, and guys like just know to come forward, hit hard, and I mean take a couple to get yours in. But that is like kind of like the Mexican style, I guess, and I feel like Canelo has that style, but he's added like his own. So like he comes forward and he presses you, but he's like not really taking punishment because he's moving his head. He's kind of like what like I've taken like his pressure. Like he pressures people without even having to really punch. Like he's just coming in, moving his head, and he sets you up. And I mean his power is scary. So I mean you're reacting to everything because you're not trying to get hit by anything by him. So that's impressive.
What is your favorite fight from him? Like, do you have a fight from Canelo that like really blew you away, or he's kind of just been owning everybody?
I like fights where he's actually like been tested. Like his last fight with Caleb Plant, I feel like I got a lot of hate because like I was going for I mean, and I didn't put any money on it or anything, but if I had a bet like my if I had to bet, I would have said Canelo round 8. But because like I like both fighters, like Plant, like I respect like what both of them have done, and I think if anyone's gonna be Canelo, it's gonna be a boxer that can punch. So if Caleb Plant had like this crazy power, I think he could beat Canelo because like at the beginning, like I put a picture on my Instagram and I put I was impressed with Caleb Plant. I thought I boxed him because he was winning rounds. Like you can't, that's facts. He was winning rounds before the knockout. I think he was like down by a round or two, something like that. So he was at the beginning he was giving him trouble, which is what I expected. But I've seen in fights Caleb Plant tends to slow down at the end, and Canelo tends to turn it up at the end. Yeah. Like he starts off slow, but once he gets going, like he presses. And I thought Canelo was frustrated in some of those like 5, 6. I thought he looked frustrated and he was just like throwing hard and trying to get him out of there, but he was sticking to the game plan, kept pressuring, and then Caleb eventually started making more mistakes and eventually got caught, but he fought his heart out. I thought that was a really good fight. But definitely, I think David Benavidez gives him trouble. But I don't know if he beats him. I think it's gonna take someone that can box, move, and punch.
What is Canelo style? What would you say it is?
I would say he's an aggressive counterpuncher.
Okay.
So he comes at you, but and he does press forward and he's aggressive, but he's more of like a counterpuncher, and that's how he takes people out. But that's how I would say, like an aggressive counterpuncher.
Does that mean like he's mostly looking for them to make a mistake? Is that what it?
Yeah, like that's why you see him starting off so slow. I feel like
Okay.
he's game planning. He's taking everything in. He's you're getting confident. You're like, oh, he's not doing nothing.
Yeah.
But as the fight goes on, you see him pressuring more and more to where like, oh, I figured it out. I see an opening, and then it's just like it's over. You know.
Okay. Oh yeah, man. Well, let's take a little break and then let's dig more about let's find out more about you. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back. And we're back. All right, man. So I have a few. I guess we were talking about Oscar on the break. Oscar De La Hoya. Just anybody who doesn't.
Yeah, we didn't mention him.
Yeah, we didn't mention him. And you said that he kind of like changed. You know, he's a promoter now, right? And I feel like it's more just for like a question for all of us because of the whole like it kind of goes with the whole Joe Rogan and Neil Young thing right now. It feels like a lot of the old heads, you know, they're clutching the pearls. It feels like they wanted to be against the system, and now that they're, you know, they got the money and everything, now they're just like no. It's everything's okay. Don't question anything. Do you guys feel like it's kind of like that? Or
I mean, I don't know how he does business. I don't really pay attention to the business standpoint, but I just hear a lot of fighters say that they don't get respected, or I don't know. But I don't have an opinion because I don't know how he works or how the contracts or any of that. But it seems like he's a good promoter. I mean, Golden Boy. I mean, that's when you get signed by Golden Boy or Top Rank, or those are like the top promotions. So I mean, it's got to be some good money, some good promotion.
what do y'all think about the whole Neil Young thing? Like, are y'all? You said you're on Joe Rogan's camp, right? Yeah.
I've seen at least 3 people do it. There was another singer, and then there was somebody else, not for COVID reasons, but for racial things that he had said.
See,
Yeah, like take my shit off Spotify or take Joe Rogan off. Cool, bye. Because Joe Rogan makes us millions of dollars.
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they're not attacking because like when they attacked him for the COVID stuff, I feel like they don't care about COVID. I feel like they care about his platform. Like, oh, he's got so much clout, I'm gonna try to tear him down and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
like,
if your name's next to Joe Rogan in a like a newspaper, you're gonna get some hits.
Exactly. So it sucks because like I feel like Joe's a good person and he's helped so many people out, like with podcasts or bringing them up or putting them on the show, and then millions of people see them, so they're like, oh, I'm gonna go listen to him, and he's just helped so many people out. And I mean, there's a lot of people on his side, but I feel like the top, like the news people or whoever's like against him, is just because like clout chasing and stuff.
It's usually CNN. Everything I see at
crazy.
CNN, I'm like, what the fuck?
It's wild, dude. Like
They have a personal beef.
we still I still want to get a historian on here, and I want to talk about it because it seems like I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. It feels like everything's just like whack. Like everything's wacky right now.
I think it's losing control of the media.
It could
So
be
they're like
that.
scrambling, like no.
Yeah,
finding out.
because I think somebody
Yeah.
released like I saw a picture on the internet, and it said something like Joe Rogan gets like this many people, and then it showed like all the other big shows, and they were nothing compared to him. And it's
He owns the networks, and he's above everybody, bro. Everybody wants to tune in because I feel like he's real and like he talks and he gets both sides, and I feel like one side gets the side they want and they put it out there.
Yeah.
And that's why like I can't
Yeah,
I
let's
can't
see it
like
in
listen to the news or anything like that because you're gonna hear like, oh, COVID this or whatever that, and this is bad, this is good, and like everything's black and white and there's no gray area. And I feel like Joe really doesn't take a side sometimes, and I feel like he gets both sides, and you're able to like maybe change your mind,
Make up your own mind, yeah.
Yeah. You get to decide.
Yeah, I feel like I remember there was a big leak. I forgot what it was, and CNN said, "Oh, you guys can't read it." Like I remember that was one of the moments I was like, what is going on, dude? Like, there was a leak of information. I don't know what it was. I forget, but they basically said that's for us to look at and to tell you guys. Like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, this is sounding really, really weird, man. Like, what are y'all trying to say, that we can't look at that stuff and understand it ourselves, or,
No, they have an agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, if anyone's gonna put the cloud, it's gonna be us. Like, we're gonna get like the reports for because we gave you the news. Like, same thing with like TMZ. Like, they're real trusted, and anything they come out with it, they're the first ones. I mean, which is like annoying.
I kind of go to TMZ to verify stuff when I see it, like on Facebook.
Exactly.
Really?
Like,
Because when somebody died, for like celebrities,
they built
for
that
sure.
reputation.
Yeah.
It used to not be that way. I always thought TMZ was kind of like a tabloid
Like the
type thing.
Enquirer,
Yeah.
kind of like
to begin with,
National
like-
Enquirer thing.
Yeah, but
Would they make
now,
shit up?
nowadays I'm like,
No, I think
now they're more
Wait,
credible.
really? I thought y'all were just messing around with me right now. They're legit now.
TMZ?
Oh, most of the time, the
Uh,
past
yeah.
couple of years, when I look something
Damn.
up, they're the ones who confirm
just
it.
with celebrities.
Yeah,
Okay.
celebrity.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I feel like fact checking, like, they've been pretty on point. But when I hear stuff, like, let's say, like, you see something like all over social media, we're posting like someone's death or
somebody
just
died.
like something like big news, and then you go to like YouTube and TMZ has it first. It's like the
Yeah.
first one, like an hour before
They're
everybody.
just like that.
So like, yeah, they're up there.
I wonder if that has a lot to do with it now. Like with it feels like everything's going to be more decentralized now, and I think CNN and a lot of the larger networks they see that and they're like, we can't compete with that. I mean, I think they can. I don't know why they're so scared. They have lots of money.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because as a people, as Americans, we are more into we're, I don't know what it is, like it's always, Americans have always been kind of like against the man,
Yeah, I get what you
and
mean.
that's probably what CNN knows
Represents.
and represents, and they just see that they can't compete with that. Like I feel like podcasting is the future. We're already here, and I think a lot more people are just are gonna understand that that's the way to go, because right now it feels like news is just not right. I'll talk trash about all the news networks. I think everybody's just trying to separate us.
I kind of think it's
Yeah.
always been like that with news. It's just lately with technology and, like you said earlier, internet, like shit's just coming out.
Yeah.
It has always been around, but we didn't.
Like back then,
Yeah, back
if
then we didn't
something
have the access.
if
to
something
it.
came out, they'd be like, "Oh, we can cover this." But now it's just like a bunch of little fires everywhere.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this has been happening all along. Now
Yeah.
we have the
They could contain it back then.
yeah.
They can't.
Yeah.
Which I like.
gonna-
I like that it's evolving, and we're getting information like boom, like right away or faster, and we don't
Right.
gotta wait, because like, let's say the information comes out, and I feel like they can manipulate it to a certain way, and then put it out to where like we can get like the spill, like how it is.
Yeah, like that whole Canadian truck thing. Have y'all guys heard about it?
No, I
so?
don't.
Oh,
I don't watch
shoot,
the news.
really?
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I don't watch the news either, but I mean, I watch a lot of people on YouTube, and the big thing that's going on in Canada right now is the truckers. They were being forced to have a passport, a vaccine passport,
No,
and they didn't like that because it infringes on your privacy. And the crazy thing is that they've been very vocal about what they're trying to do, is that they don't want the mandate. That's all. They don't want to be forced to take it and forced to have the passport. But the news is saying that they're just completely
It's the truckers.
against the vaccine. Like they're just
Exactly.
completely against it. And that's so sad to see. It's so sad to see that, it's like it's so obvious what they stand for, and yet people, the news, this machine is just trying to turn it over. Like it's kind of crazy how, like, what's the goal? Is it really just to keep us like separated and angry at each other?
Yeah, keep us
Yeah.
in fear, really. I
Like-
think we're like at the beginning of something changing.
Yeah.
Feels like to me anyway.
which is good.
Yeah.
Maybe hopefully it's a good change. Hopefully it's a good change. Yeah. You don't think so? Or what?
We've been suicided by next week.
Nah, like
I think it's
Oh no.
I think it's more towards a bad change, like
Yeah, because
totalitarian government.
Oh,
Bad.
damn.
yeah, you think You think they'll be like, okay, well now we're gonna just we were letting y'all think that y'all had freedom. Now we're just gonna take everything. Maybe, dude.
Damn.
That's freaky.
That's scary, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of places, a lot of businesses, and were saying that like you have to get the vaccine and stuff like that. And like, I'm okay with like being safe, but like not having the choice is what's kind of like suspect.
Yeah,
about it.
you want to make that
Like a
decision.
lot of people. I had a friend that like has everything, bro. Like he has asthma, he has a bad heart, and he really takes care of himself. And he's like, my doctor like told me like you can't get the shot because like you will probably get like really messed up to where like it puts your health at risk, and you have like a barely functioning heart. So he's like, you might want to just be safe and like take the risk of like not having the shot. But then the company is like nah, you're not, like we're not gonna make you take the shot, but you're just not gonna be let in the building. So like you're forced
So
to
you
lose
have
your
to-
job basically.
Yeah.
On that video that Sandra shared,
Yeah.
the nurses they're talking about administering to kids now, and that some kids were. It was her specific example was some kid was having heart attack like conditions
Damn.
due to the virus, or like they're like, well, what the fuck else could it be?
Yeah.
He clearly just had the shot like
Right.
2 days ago, and children shouldn't have heart attack symptoms. So
Yeah.
what the hell else would it be?
Yeah. And I remember in the very beginning they told us that kids were like pretty much immune to it. Like they
Yeah,
didn't.
their immune system's so
Yeah.
good. It wouldn't really.
So I don't get this whole like movement to get the kids now. It is really suspicious, man. It's kind of wild, and it's kind of wild. Like if you even talk about it, there'll be like a little exclamation point or
Exactly.
a little.
If you make a joke or
yeah.
you make a post, boom, like it'll be like find out information,
Find check, fact checks.
yeah, or get the vaccine right. And I'm like, that's not like what this post is about. So like it sucks. Anything you'd be like, oh, I just turned 19. It's gonna be like, boom, freaking get the vaccine, blah blah blah, whatever. Like
Yellow
anything,
City
bro.
Kids interview a boxer. COVID-19
Boxing
information right here.
Boxing
Probably, dude. It
regulations.
probably is gonna be down there underneath it. Like, get the information, get the latest information from the CDC and all that. Like, man, dude, I'm kind of just, I think everybody's sick of it, and I think only a few states like Texas and Florida are willing to say, screw it.
Florida's
Like-
a whole other country, bro.
Yeah.
Florida.
Well,
Don't ever go to
you
Florida.
remember,
for-
you remember last March, right? When our governor said, "Screw it," this is gonna end. We don't have to, if you want to wear it, wear it. You want to take it. And remember, President Biden kind of talked smacked about us, man. He called us Neanderthals or something like that. Look at us, man. We're chilling, dude. We're vibing.
And then I thought the whole point was to get it. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so like
Yeah,
whatever.
none of us are.
I mean, I don't know anything. Just some dude. Nah, but I heard like you get the shot, so like some people were getting it to like not wear the mask anymore or whatever. Like I'm still gonna wear it like out and stuff like that, and especially in big crowds. And I think the 6 feet and the big crowds, all that should have been implemented like even before. Like I don't know, like it feels good to like be in line and you have to be 6 feet apart. 'Cause, like,
Yeah, can we just keep all that?
yeah,
Yeah.
So none of us are doctors, but he's played one in a skit. So
Yeah, so
he has the most
I trust this
credibility
guy.
here.
So I guess let's get back into the boxing world. How has this really affected your life? Like,
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, sorry to cut you off.
no,
but,
go
like,
for it. What's up?
Is there like annoying type questions that people ask you when they find out you're a boxer? That like insights challenge kind of thing.
I hate
pretty
the-
much everything that we ask you.
No.
Do you have to register your hands?
Oh my.
Do you really get that crap?
Yeah, I've gotten the so your hands are registered, or I've had guys like, oh, so you think you can take me? I'm like,
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
was like.
man.
You get that
Yeah,
challenge
bro.
out of me. Like,
Like,
I didn't
Man,
say that.
Some
man.
guys, man. Some guys are just too
They just-
much.
yeah.
about
So
that.
like at my
It's a
job,
masculinity thing.
yeah, at my job, I didn't tell anybody for like a long time, and then when I did tell people that like, or no, when my friend found out, because he was like, hey, congrats on your like big win or whatever. I know you stopped somebody or something like that, and then like people started finding out, and they're like, oh, like we gotta treat him different, like, and I'm like, it's weird, like it's just like I've never been in a fight like outside of the ring, even before, like I was when I was little, like I don't really count that. But as far as like,
because you were saying that you were really
yeah,
troublemaker.
I was troublemaker. But like as far as like you would get in like little scraps. But as far as like when I got older, like I've never been in an actual fight like outside the ring. And I'm not like a violent person. Like I feel like if we were just talking and stuff, you wouldn't know that I fight. But like when you step into the ring or that bell rings, it's a different person, you know?
Yeah. You gotta be, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be, because it's who was it? I think it's Mike that was talking about it. It's like when you're in there, it's your life, you know. You know that guy has like you've signed the form that says like that guy can hurt you, and I know in amateur they take care of but accidents can't happen.
No, you still see cold knockouts. Like the gloves are a little bit puffy and you have a headgear, but if you got power, if you got pop, bro, you're still gonna get you can still get stopped.
I mean, you have to go in there with that mentality. Hey, man, exactly. I could wake up in a hospital after this or something like that. So, how do you do that? Deal with that mentality? Like, you're pretty okay with it, or
like I feel like I developed it young, like growing up, like growing up in hard places, and like California wasn't like the best scene. Like when we were just cause like school, like we were pretty like bad kids, and then I had an older brother, so he would always like he wouldn't beat me up, but like, you know, having the older brother, and he's a giant, he's freaking like you have to deal with that, so like you toughen up and stuff like that. And then I mean, we've had to work since we were little, just to you know, make some money or help or whatever, and work for our own. So like all that helps, and I feel like helps you mature and grow that mentality. I feel like it's just a mindset that you have to like get, and it helped me develop when I was in wrestling. Like I've never been fearful, because in wrestling I had a match once where I was a freshman. I only weighed like probably like 100 pounds, and I was wrestling at the like 106 category, and I had my first win, and I was like super pumped. And they're like, "You're facing this 2-time state champ. He's freaking demolished everybody." So that got in my head. I didn't know anything. I'd never seen this guy. I didn't know anything about him. Yeah. But they were like, he had all these accolades. So right off the bat, like I scared myself, and I was in there, and I freaking like I stood there and I let him take me down.
Damn.
And then he was being real rough, so I got mad, and then I started fighting back, and I was catching up, and then I barely lost by a couple points. And then in my mind, I'm like, if I would have actually tried like since the beginning, I beat myself before I even walked in there. So from there, I was like, I'm not letting anybody get in my head, and it hasn't affected me like ever since.
You started doing what the people at work did, huh? You started treating them different.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, man, this guy is crazy good, and I made him like, I'm like, oh, I suck, I'm weak, and blah blah, and I let him beat me, like, and then I started like being like, man, like look at me, I'm like being a puss, and I'm just like in here getting ragdolled, and I actually started fighting back, and I was doing better, and I just was like, I'm never beating myself to that point again. So just go out there and if your mind's right, like I feel like you'll be all right.
To the mothers of all these boxers, how is it? Like how tough does your or I guess your whole family have to be to watch their nephew, their son, their boyfriend and all that?
Well, out of like when I was in wrestling, my mom, she was like, I'm never gonna go. She's like, don't even ask me. I'm never gonna go see you wrestle.
Dang.
Because I don't want to see you ever get hurt. And I'm like, Mom, it's wrestling. Like I slam people, and like the worst thing, like I've seen people like break the shoulders, ankles, whatever. Like rarely happens, but I mean it's happened before. I've seen it, and it's pretty scary stuff. But you see it with like, you don't see it with like good wrestlers or high level guys. So like I like to think like I was pretty decent enough to like take care of myself. Like I'm not out here doing crazy stuff, whatever. And my dad will watch me sometimes, and I mean my dad's like real Mexican. He's that like hard on you. He doesn't really show love. He's real quiet. I mean he doesn't talk much. He's real reserved, and so like seeing him like be like proud and give me a hug when I went off to state for the first time, like it like really that gave me like huge motivation. So in boxing I want to do more, and I want him to see the results. And same thing, like my mom went to one of those local fights, and it was a big show, I had never fought in a home crowd, so like I mean the crowd was like going crazy, and I was like, dang, like my heart's beating because they're freaking everybody's pumping me up, but then like I look around and everybody's going crazy, but then like you have to like have tunnel vision and be like, oh, I'm here to do a job, like
Right.
like it's not gonna be done for me, so you still have to go and take care of business, and I know my girlfriend, she was like, I'd never seen you like with that look, because I just get in my head and I'm just like boom, like tunnel vision, and you just like boom staring into it like his soul or whatever, and like I just have like I'm just serious, and I'm like in my mind I'm like I'm gonna take this dude out, like I'm gonna freaking run through him, I'm gonna punch through him, whatever, like I'm gonna take him out, and if I knock him out, then I knock him out, and I'm not gonna feel bad, but like I've stopped people before, and like you see them like they're sad or they're upset or they're with their family, and like you feel for them then, but in the ring like I don't care for you, like it's either you or me.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing.
Yeah.
I'm picking me.
And as a goal to, do you prefer the knockout, or do you just want to just go the distance, or does it? You don't have a game plan. You're just in there.
Like I like to I really like to fight, so I like it to go all 3 rounds. But like I've had all my stoppages have been in the third, because I'm kind of a slow starter, like I said. Like I could be that guy that boom jumps right in action and I knock you out in the first or something like that. But I like to take a calculated approach, and if the knockout, like you can't go looking for the knockout. You have to box, you have to set things up, you have to fight, and if it comes, it'll come. But I'm not out there like, oh, I'm freaking swinging everything my hardest, because if you go looking for the knockout, you're gonna gas out, you're gonna get knocked out, you're gonna look bad. So like you can't be out. You gotta go out there and go according to the game plan, and then if the knockout comes, it'll come.
It's kind of crazy that you do all this like conditioning, all this work, right? And it feels like, you know, you could go for like when you see a guy in your shape, or you know, you see all these other guys in their shape, you're like, man, these guys, they can probably go for a whole day of fighting. But it's kind of crazy how I don't know, what is it? Is it just the combination of everything that starts hitting on your stamina, or is it just that humans humans are just we're just that weak?
Yeah, do the 3 minutes feel like 3 minutes, or does it feel like eternity?
That's a pretty crazy thing, because I'll compare it from like my first fight to now. Like my first fight was 2 minutes. You start when you're novice. Novice means 5 fights and under, or 10 fights and under, and then you get to go open. And once you go open, you can fight anybody at any age and any tournament. And then you can get ranked. You can fight somebody. Like I have 11 fights, so I'm open. I've been open since I had like 9 fights, and you could fight someone that has like 50 fights. So like you got to be able to like hold your own and stuff like that. But my first fight, I transitioned from wrestling, and in wrestling I would cut a lot of weight. So I cut from like 142 or 43 to like 134 to make the weight class. And the morning of weigh-ins, I woke up early and I ran 2 miles to lose an extra pound, because I was still over. And I mean, you're supposed to rest, you know, you're supposed to come. And I was like pretty drained, but I'm like, this is like normal. This is what people do, because it was like a dumb mentality. And I weigh in, I eat, and then the fights start at 2. I'm fighting by like 4 or 5, whatever, and then I fight, and then a lot of emotions are going through your mind, and that's what wears on your gas tank. That's why you want to be like super conditioned, because like the crowd and the nerves, all that takes a toll on your gas tank, whether you like think about it or not. Like it takes like boom, like I'm already like it just takes a toll, because the nerves, whatever, like everything, the mentality, like no matter how prepared you are, it takes a little bit of a toll, especially when I was it was my first fight, so I never been in that scene before. I'd never been in a ring, and then it hit me that like I was staring across my opponent, and I'm like, we're really gonna like punch each other in the face, and I'm like, whew, and then I'm like freaking out, and then I'm like, you gotta relax, because like I'm not about to look like a chump in front of this crowd. So I'm like, go out there and fight. Yeah. It's a war. And then I go, and he rushes me, and I'm like, I freak out, and then I'm like, game plan, and then I just stick a jab in his face. I land it and one punch, and I'm tired, bro. I'm like, oh no. Shit. I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have cut all that weight.
Yeah.
So he's throwing like 10 punches, bro, and I'm just moving my head, boom, boom, boom. I'm circling around the ring. I'm dancing on him, but I can't throw anything back because I have no gas in the tank, bro. And then I'm throwing 1-2 punches at a time, and they have nothing behind them. They're like, Wongo arm punches, noodle, bro, noodle legs, noodle arms, and then we're both breathing really, really hard, bro. And then I start tagging them, and then I get like my adrenaline starts going up, so I'm starting to connect, and then the round ends, and then I go to my corner, and then everything's happening so fast. I'm breathing, I'm sitting there, and then now that like I'm in shape and I know how to mentally, I'm all there. I don't really sit down in the corner. But right there, he put the stool and boom, and I just like I sat there and I'm like, I don't know if I can do another 2 rounds. I'm like, I'm exhausted to the max, because you say like you're gonna pace yourself, but he's coming at you, so you're swinging everything and you're missing, and it's just tiring you out, man. And then the second round, he comes out and his hands are a little bit lower, and he's tired, he's breathing hard, so I'm starting to connect. I'm touching him up. I'm throwing good combos. And then I'm starting to get him in the corner, and I'm lighting him up, and then I get an 8 count because he's taking a lot of punishment, and they count him out, and I'm like pumped up, I'm jumping around, but then they're like, the fight's not over, and then he comes back, and he's tough, you know, he's still coming forward, and then I'm moving my head, boom, the round ends, and I sit back, and then I'm like, okay, like my weight is starting to go up, the crowd is starting to pump me up, like now I'm in a fight, now I can go. I'm super tired and I'm sore, and my body's aching from the weight cut, but like the adrenaline is keeping me going. And the third round comes, and that kid has no gas in the tank because he threw everything. He had an adrenaline dump the first round, so he's throwing everything. And then I'm throwing arm punches, and I'm hitting him, and he falls in. He goes into a corner, and I'm just lighting him up. Boom, his head is rocking back. The ref's about to jump in, and I wind up with the big overhand, and then I throw it, and then the ref jumps in and calls a fight. The ref jumps in, and I landed on his shoulder. And I was like, damn, that was my hardest punch. I had nothing else left. And I'm like, I threw the hardest punch of the fight, and it landed on the ref's shoulder. And then the ref's cutting him out, and he's like trying to get up. And they're like, you want to continue? And he was like that, and he couldn't even stay up. And then they sit him down. The fight's over, and I'm like, I'm screaming. I just felt like I won a world title, and it was. And then I was like, I need to relax. Like this ain't that big of a deal. And then I go to my corner, and my coach shakes my hand. I'm like, thank God, because I had nothing else left in the tank.
Do people underestimate the effectiveness of body shots?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've even done it. I'm hitting people to the head, and I'm rocking them, and I'm forgetting about the body. But the body slows you down, and then like they say, like you invest into the body, and the head will fall. Mm-hmm. But it's really true. But the body shots are a lot harder to get in, so like you gotta pick your shots, and that's why like setups and all that is real important.
Yeah, I've taken a kidney shot once or twice, and I'm like,
they do debilitate you, because I mean anybody can have a chin, but nobody has like a body. If you get hit like perfect to liver, you get like a nice shot, like you're going down.
Yeah, damn, dude. No matter how good you train it, or
like you could like I could do abs every day. We do like where we punch each other in the stomach and just kind of build that tolerance. But if you're like taking a deep breath and like boom, you're like, that's why you hear that sound. Like a lot of like you might not hear it in the top level fights because the mic's not really like in the ring, but you hear that sound when they're punching. It's like, and that all that's doing is you're tightening your stomach. So when I punch, let's say you counter me to the body, I'm tight, so the punch is not gonna affect me. If you get me while I'm breathing, like I'm soft right there, so boom, it just makes it just goes through everything, bro. And you're like, your instinct or like you're built to where like if you get hit in the kidneys, like your body has to go like horizontal. It's something
it's
with
natural.
like it's natural, yeah. So you see guys like you could be as tough as you want to be, bro, but if you get hit in the liver, you get hit perfect while you're taking a deep breath, or you don't see the shot coming, you're going down and you're going to your side, bro, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you can have a chin and be like, I'm not going down, and you can keep getting back up. But if you get hit to the body like perfect, bro, you're not getting up, bro. It's done.
Do you are you guys like the judges? Are y'all have judges on there? Like
you have 3 judges and then 1 or 2 officials.
Are you guys told what they're judging and everything, or what they're looking at before?
You get you can get a talk in the locker room, and then when you're in the corner, they check your gloves and they check your headgear, and they're like, I want a clean fight, blah blah. He'll talk to you, and then you'll meet up, and then you'll shake hands, and then they're like, come out at the bell. But you can get the scorecards after the fight, but it's like it's amateurs. You can have like 100 amateur fights, so like if it's a close fight and they don't go your way, like I'm not gonna be like robbery. A lot of people like to throw that out. Like if it's a close fight and it doesn't go your way, like a lot of people like to be like, oh, those judges, they got me or whatever. But I mean, it's amateurs. Close fights, they might not go your way, but it's just something you have to live with.
Okay.
The most important question.
Oh, okay, what's this?
Are y'all wearing cups or nah?
10-4, yeah, we got to, bro. We got to, yeah. Yeah, it's nothing worse than getting like a clean, because sometimes like even when like even the most skillful fighters, like they go to the body and I may cover up a certain way so your punch will go, or like I clip you and you're falling down and you throw a punch and it ends up hitting the wrong spot. You wanna be protected. Yeah, we're wearing cups and mouthpiece and then the headgear, and that's all the protection you got.
That was the most important. I mean,
That's the most
critical.
important. That's the most critical. What do you mean?
Oh man, there's so many questions. Honestly, well, we already asked about the family.
It is 120. Were you trying to leave by 1:30 or?
What's that?
I said it is about 1:20. Were you trying to leave at 1:30 or?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. We'll have you for a little
This is
bit more.
funner than I thought it was going to be.
What's your how important is the diet? Is it pretty damn important or not?
No,
on a diet right now.
it really is
Yeah.
important, because I mean right now I walk around at like sometimes I'm heavier. I could be like walking around at 45. Sometimes I'm like 47, whatever, and I cut down to 140. But I diet with time, because like I used to do it to where like I'd eat whatever. When I was in wrestling, I'd eat whatever, and I'd weigh like 140, and I'd just drain my body to make 132. I'd just put on a trash bag and I'd work out, and I'd last minute lose 5, 6, 7 pounds to cut all the weight. Yeah. And then you make weight and you have like an hour or two to rehydrate, which is not enough time. Yeah. So now I take it. I mean, you have to take it serious, because one, like that first fight, going in drained, going in with no energy and gassing out and not resting. And now I diet. So like a day before the fight, I'm like 140, 142, and then I can just sleep off a pound, and then you wake up on weight, and then you're a little bit dehydrated. It's not bad. And then you make weight, you eat, and you have the whole day to rehydrate. And then fights usually start at 2 p.m. or 7, depending what kind of show it is. Dude, so and you got to take rehydration real important, because I mean, when you dehydrate yourself, like in the brain, like the fluid and stuff, I mean, it's a contact sport, so you don't want to be like dehydrated, having no fluids protecting your brain, getting hit, and then your brain rocking in there with everything and not having any fluids to protect it and stuff like that. That's how a lot of fighters have passed away.
Oh, okay. Damn. Really?
Yeah, like they cut a tremendous amount of weight.
Yeah. And
they don't properly rehydrate, and then there's no fluid in the brain, and they'll like there was this guy who didn't even get knocked out. He won the fight, and but he was taking a lot of blows to the head, and he was cutting like 20, 30, whatever, how many pounds. He was cutting a lot of weight, and he didn't have enough time to rehydrate, and people knew like, yeah, this guy cuts a lot of weight, so that's why he's so big when it comes to fight night. Like let's say you fight at 47, but you weigh like 65 the week before. And then once you weigh 147 for a couple hours, and then once you step off the scale, rehydrating back to 160, 165 when you're entering the ring.
Is that a good culture? Like, or do you agree with the way that's done, or you think
I think it's kind of dumb. I think it's okay to like what I'm doing, like diet a little bit to get to because I mean, if I were to fight at 45, I would be in good shape, but I wouldn't be like as lean and as disciplined. So I think dieting helps me discipline, and then when I get down, I'm at my leanest, and I do it the proper way. I do it healthy. Like I lose
1 or 2 pounds.
Yeah, I lose it within like a week or two. So I'm not 146, 147 the night before, and I'm gonna have to cut all that weight and kill myself, and then step on the scale, and then go have to fight with like no gas in the tank. Because what's the point of having a training camp if you're not gonna have no guys. Like you could have the best training camp, but then have a extreme weight cut, and none of your training camp's gonna matter because you have no, like you're not replenished, so you're not gonna perform at your best.
Right. So do you think we should stop doing that, or how would you fix that?
I think it depends on you. That's why when I see like in MMA, you see it more. Like you see guys cutting like crazy amounts of weight, and when I see that, I don't feel bad for them because nobody's making you cut that weight. Like there's guys in the flyweight, which is 125, that are cutting from like 155, which is like insane. Like a little guy cutting that much weight. And you can see it, like their face is like boom, like caved in, and they're like they look so dry and lean, and they're like barely, like you've seen a lot of people faint on the scale because like they're like barely walk. They don't even know they have their team has to carry them on the damn scale, and it's just like I don't even feel bad for you because nobody's making you do that.
Right,
like,
true.
You're being a weight bully. That's what they call it. Like you're losing so much weight, so in the fight you're not actually in that freaking weight. Some people will blow up 20 pounds and. Like a good example is I don't know if y'all know Paulo Acosta in the
I've heard
UFC.
the name. Yeah.
Like I heard he walks around at like 225 and he fights at 185.
God dang, dude.
So he has like this Greek body. He's freaking this giant bodybuilder, and he water loads and he loses all that water weight. So he's like super dry, and he's like super like his face is like deflated and he looks crazy lean. And then coming into the ring, his opponent will be like 190 maybe, 5 pounds over. He'll be like 215, bro.
God
like
damn, dude.
So realistically, if there was no weight cutting, like one championship does it really good. They hydrate test you. So like a week before, you can't fight within like 2-3 pounds of that weight. So you're not cutting tremendous. Whatever you weigh, you're gonna fight near it. So I'm 145. I could probably still fight at 140, 135, whatever. I'll just diet and stay leaner. And then I can fight at 135, 140 and not cut any weight. And then, but yeah, some people take advantage to where like they're cutting like a crazy amount of weight. And like, I don't think it's right. I'm not for that. I think they should hydrate test everybody.
What about drug testing? What are your thoughts on that?
To me, it sucks because like, I feel like if you're going to cheat, like you're going to find a way. And like, I feel like it's never going to be, I mean, they've gotten better, but I feel like it's never going to be 100% clean. Like, they're going to find a way to cheat. But I don't know. I feel like I just see it like if I'm prepared, like I can be anybody, whether you're taking stuff or not. But like it does sometimes like give people advantages with strength or cardio. And that's the big thing that people talk about. Like, I'm not scared of losing. I'm scared of getting tired. That's more of a fear. Like, I don't care like if you're better than me, but getting tired is like a huge fear of like a lot of people. Like I don't. That's what gives me confidence because I know I've done my road work. I know I put in the work, so I'm super confident. But like some people, like they're like there's nothing worse than like you not being able to pick your hands up and somebody there punching you like that. That sucks. Like I've been tired in sparring or whatever and stuff, but I've never been like being out of shape and knowing going into a fight like. I'm not in shape. Like that's a big fear, but I've always come prepared.
Cool. All right. Well, tell me a little bit about your next match, and then we'll close it with that. Yeah.
One more thing.
Oh,
before you do that?
Go for it. What's up?
Like as far as like your camp taking care of you, like saying like throwing in the towel, does that happen often, or you've never seen somebody get like beat, like they were mismatched that much that the camp's like, nah, you're not ready, or something like that?
I haven't seen it with our team. I feel like everybody is like sometimes like smoker shows they'll mismatch you like crazy, but as far as like I've had the I guess the luck of like not like you'll fight guys with like similar amount of fights with you as you or whatever, but I haven't I've seen people throw in the towel because like of mismatches, and it sucks because like whoever throws the show is in charge of that. So how are you gonna put a guy with 50 fights with a guy has 2 fights or something like that? Right. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. That's pretty messed up.
Yeah. All right. Did you want to ask? You got anything?
No,
you good? So tell me about your next fight. Where can we catch it and all that?
Okay, so it's gonna be in 2 weeks at the regional Golden Gloves, and we're not sure if we're matched yet, but if I win that tournament or that fight, whatever, we'll move into state in March.
March, okay.
And that'll be this fight's gonna be in Lubbock. Lubbock's gonna be hosting them. And I don't know if national tournaments they put them on the Golden Glove site or the USA Boxing site, but I'm not sure if regionals will be there.
Okay.
So on the actual site.
Do you know the place that they're holding it over there in Lubbock?
No, I don't know. I don't know anything, bro. I just know the weight, and that's all. That's all I'm told. The weight and the date.
Well, if you guys want to check out, there'll be some matches in 2 weeks. What is that going to be? Because it takes a little bit to edit these videos.
Yeah, it'll be
you have a date.
February the 19th.
February 19th.
But you guys will know when we have that the next local show for the amateurs. We'll keep it posted and we'll make a
Is
big
there
deal.
a Facebook page or thing that they can follow?
Y'all can follow Texas Elite Fight Club or follow my Instagram, Prici Ruelas.
Go.
Shout out all your socials.
Yeah.
I'm mostly active on Instagram. Follow my Instagram, Prici
Check 'em out.
Ruelas.
Got abs for days, ladies. I don't know if you do.
I'm married.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's married. All right. Well, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show, man, and I'd like to have you on again, maybe after like a big fight. Tell us a little bit about it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Well,
For sure.
It was a lot of fun.
ladies and gentlemen, that's another episode of the Yellow City Kids podcast. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Cool, you left the camera rolling. We'll use that for the beginning clip.
Oh, yeah.
We put this in cardio and they're like real fucking strippers. Chris, there's a lot of give and take.
I know. I couldn't find nothing.
I know. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out a way to get y'all in. I was just enjoying the
I was
conversation.
asking some good ass questions. I was like, yeah, that's a good ass question. I'm just admiring him.
Yeah.
We go way back. I see ships in the clouds. You give him the spicy water.
So I got a little bit of kick to it.
Why is it spicy?
Why is it spicy?
You ready?
What's your skincare routine?
How do you keep your skin like that?
Oh, it's just men beating the shit out of me.
I got this 7-in-1 shampoo, soap, car, diesel, degreaser.
It's everything.
Deodorant, foot
Foot powder.
I cook with it too.
Cologne.
Chris, there's a lot of give and take.
Y'all were taking all the good questions. All I had was stuff about how we man used to work together, but you kept it on the boxing for the whole team, so I was like, okay.
I would have been like, it's a no-brainer. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of like when you have two chicks and the ugly one says it's either me or her, and you're like, you're making this really easy. What?
My RNF.
My RNF.
Because this motherfucker keeps saying Randef and
My R and F, right?
my RNF.
Try to figure out a way to put skincare into when you're talking about boxing.
Speaking about skincare,
yeah, I get punched a lot, but the way I keep my skin is good.
People always ask me.
okay, and this sponsor. Shit. I had it.